Okay, what we're going to do next is we are going to take our notes on how to calculate mean, median, mode, and range. And we're talking about these measures of central tendency. We're talking about where is the center of my data? What does it look like? All right, so the first thing let's do is let's title our notes. So we're going to write mean, median, mode, and range. And this is all how when we look at our data. So in order to calculate mean, median, mode, and range of data, the first thing you have to do is have a set of data. So please copy down the following numbers. When we're listing out numbers, it makes sense to put a comma in between. So 7, 9, 11, 6, 8, 7, 10, 12, 7, 11. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 pieces of data. Please push pause and make sure you have 10 pieces of data. Whenever we're looking at numbers and we're looking at this data, right now it kind of looks like a jumbled mess. So the best thing to do is to rearrange the data in order from least to greatest. So right underneath, I'm just going to cross them out as I write them. So I'm actually going to have 6, and we have 7, 7, we have 3 7s, and it is important to write all 3 of them. We have 1 8, okay, we have 1 9, we have 1 10, we have 2 11s, and it looks like we have a 12. And again, we should count our data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? All right, so if you happen to have a ruler, the best thing that I want to do is I want to split this into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So let me zoom out here and show you that what I'm going to do is I am going to make myself a little table here. Okay, about like this. That might be half, maybe this right here. Okay. Go ahead and do the same thing in your notes. I don't know if you can see this looks like. Okay. All right. We are going to start in this corner over here, and let's just go ahead and title everything. So this is where we're going to calculate the mean. Next to that, we will do the median. We have the mode. You can see that in the bottom, the left side, and then the range in the bottom right. Okay, here we go. In order to calculate the mean, you add all the data and divide by the number of data. Okay, so you add all the data, okay, divide by the number of data. Okay, so what we're going to do is we need to add all of these numbers together. So technically what we're doing is I'll do it over here to the side. We're going to do 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11 plus 11 plus 12. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and add those numbers together. Okay. When you add all those numbers together, you should get 88. Okay. So that is the total of all of the data. But in order to calculate the mean, you must divide, okay, the total, 88, divided by the number of data, 10. Okay. You can put that in your calculator, or you can say that 88 divided by 10. 10 goes into 88 8 times. Subtract and get 8. Add a decimal, bring down a 0, and so the mean of your data is 8.8. Your data centers around 8.8. Okay? Now let's talk about the median. The median is the middle of the data. okay? This is when you line up all of the data and you find the middle. So we already have it lined up, and I'm going to rewrite it again. So we have 6, 7, 7, 7. Please rewrite the data. 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12. Now what I like to do is I like to cross the data out on the ends to get to the middle. So I cross off the smallest number and the biggest number. Okay, now I cross off the remaining smallest number and the remaining biggest number. The remaining smallest number and the remaining biggest number. And I do this until I'm left with either 1 in the middle, or in this case, I have 2 in the middle. Okay, now you can't have 2 in the middle, but what you can do is you can determine what is halfway between 8 and 9. 2 ways to do that is we know that halfway between 8 and 9 happens to be 8.5. Okay, if it isn't that easy, if you have 2 in the middle, make sure you're writing this down, okay? You add the numbers and divide by 2. So you would say 8 plus 9 all divided by 2, which equals 17 divided by 2, which equals 8.5. Okay, which is the same thing that we got up there. The mode is the number in your data that appears the most. Mode most. The number that appears most often. Okay, so let's look back up at our data. I noticed that, let's see, 7 appears 3 times, 11 appears twice. So the mode of this data is 7. Okay. And I probably should have written median, 8.5. Sorry about that. Okay, so the mode is 7. Now, the last piece of data is the range. And the range basically describes the span of the data, okay? The span, which means it's how many numbers are in there. So, basically, we know in order to find the range and find the span, you take the largest number and you subtract the smallest number, okay? So you're not trying to figure out like how many actual numbers you have in there, but how many pieces, how many numbers could live in your data, okay? So the biggest number of our data, looking back up here, was 12, and the smallest number was 6. When I subtract those, I get 6. So the range is 6. Okay, it means the variation, how much my numbers vary by, and they vary within 6 numbers of each other. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out and give you one last look at the notes here. This is the information that you can use on your homework tonight. This is the information that you should have in your composition notebook, so that way you have a resource.